I've always wanted to make one of these acrylic signs, and recently I got a new laser from the people over at Full Spectrum Laser. This is a Muse Titan. This is a 100-watt, 24 by 48 laser, and I'm going to be cutting some 1/4-inch acrylic that I bought on eBay. This is translucent white, and I'll be using blue and black. The first thing I do is a test cut, which lets me know the power and speed that I'll need to cut this material, and I do that using a file that's provided by the laser company. And then I put the laser to work. Now, my logo was designed by my friend Charlie Coombs, so I have the vectors of this logo on my computer. And if you're looking for a logo, you should hit him up. I'll put a link to his Instagram in the description of this video. So with the vector, I break it up into basically layers. I have the white, black, and blue of my logo, and I start by cutting out the white, which has all the small letters and sort of the center logo detail. Once the white is cut, I drop in another piece. Now this is the blue, which will just be a big circular background. And what's nice about this machine being 24 by 48 is I can buy 24 by 24 sheets and I can get a really good yield out of them. I want to make the size pretty big, the sign pretty big, so this is a great way to utilize that. The next is the black, which has a border, the center section, and then sort of this like sawtooth section. Now, I don't have to change any of my settings for the different colors, but I did do a little test cut in each color just to make sure there wasn't a sort of different composition, which would make me have to change the actual laser parameters. I'm using 100% power and a 25% speed. So with all the pieces out, I can start peeling off the masking and start to assemble the sign. Now, I had a feeling that this would be a relatively easy thing to make, but I don't think I really understood how easy it is to make an acrylic sign like this if you have a laser. The trickiest part is figuring out the layout, and what I did here was I used some pieces that I had cut to kind of set the orientation of the layout perfectly, and then I'm using some Starbond medium CA glue to glue everything in place. So basically, I set an offcut from one of the sections and dropped that white piece in the center, and then I used the offcut from the logo words around the border. Now, this isn't the most efficient way to cut letters like this if I was trying to save material, but in this case, I thought it'd be better to actually just have an easier time putting the sign together than to worry about wasting any material. And because the Muse Titan has a camera in it, I can still use this acrylic and very easily lay out parts on the pieces that are left. I glued in 2 pieces in the center of white, and then I decided to put the black pieces over that as they kind of click into place. The other great thing about cutting with a laser is that there's such a small kerf. You can use your offcuts and your negative space around the pieces that you're saving and glue things and kind of fit things almost perfectly to one another. Now the sign comes together really quickly. For the border, I used 2 layers of black, so there is a little bit of dimension to it. So overall, there's basically 3 stages. You've got the blue as the background, then the white and black. And I decided I wanted to put it on an MDF backer that I could try to put some lights in it. So I went back over to the machine and I drew up 2 circles, one as a solid back that would fit the entire piece, and then kind of a donut that I could glue to it to give me some spacing off of it to put in some LED tape. I was able to cut these out and basically just draw them on the computer right in the Full Spectrum app. Now, I got some LED light tape on Amazon for about $15, and before I go and put that in, I just glued this sort of donut around to the backer. Now, I could have made the backer out of acrylic, but it would have just been a lot more expensive than just using this 1/4-inch MDF. I cut a little trough for the wire to stick out and then used the same medium Starbond clear CA glue and some activator to glue that in. Now, I thought I wanted as much light as possible behind the sign, so I used this entire roll of LED light tape to kind of do a spiral around it. But as you'll see in a minute, the distance between the light and the back of the sign was just not far enough in order for the light to diffuse, and it looked kind of silly having that sort of spiral back there. I didn't want to build the sign up and make it really thick, so I made another layer using arches instead of circles to save material, and then I removed some of the LED tape so that I just had a border around the edge, which was enough to illuminate the sign and gave it another 1/4 inch of standoff to give it a nice glow from the border heading in. Now, again, the kerf and the precision of the laser is so nice because you can use something like this where you cut 4 arches and you still make a perfect circle. and then you can see the way the sign looks like when it's lit up and the room gets a little dark. With that done, I use, again, the same CA glue, put a bead around it, and I glue the sign right to the MDF. But before I had done that, I did drill a hole in the back of the MDF to sort of act as a mounting clip. I brought it over to the wall in my shop where I had a screw and an anchor and hung it up, and you can see how it looks. The acrylic is flawless. It looks incredible. It looks like it was cast. Honestly, it amazes me that I was able to make this so easily in my shop with such kind of simple process. You obviously need a laser to cut something like this, but if you have one, you can make beautiful signs that are absolutely worth making if you want to do this as a business. I've been posting this on my Instagram, and I have gotten tons of inquiries to make signs like this. So check out the full Spectrum Muse Titan, and I'm really happy with how this came out.